Oh yes, you read that right, the CalArts style. For years, it seems the art style has been critiqued for its constant use of repetitive facial appearance and overall heavily simplistic design. Shows like The Owl House, Craig of the Creek, Star vs. the Forces of Fan Service, and Evil, have been taken into account as victims of what is known as the CalArts style. Overall, there's a lot of similarities to things of this nature, really high neon colors that kind of hurt your eyes, things like that. And another thing is bad writing. Now, before we get into that segment, I would like to note that there is a lot more than just that chubby little face that everyone knows about since what, 2016, 17, who cares? But I think it needs to be taken into account that it's not as simple as it looks. As we all know, animation and character design needs to be simplistic in order to allow more diverse and, I'd have to say, deep alternatives to complicated animation. To the dismay of the audience, online critiques will share a sentiment of disgust knowing these types of shows continue to make an uprising. I mean, how could they possibly be liked? Look at how American they are. Bad writing, limited animation, it sucks. Well, as we all know, the answer isn't as simplistic of an explanation as the accusation is, as it's very easy to dismiss resources writers or commonly artists have in today's field. Often, animation has to be done in Flash and with a time schedule, considering animation in and of itself is expensive and deadlines are more persistent over the years. Let it be known it's not as simple to pop out shows like The Midnight Gospel or Avatar. You see, when an artist isn't pressured, they tend to produce much better works. I mean, when you take the resources into consideration, we have to ask another question. Why does it all look the same? Well, all anime looks the same. It barely has any animation overall. But when a cool ass scene occurs, it's the most stunning segment in media you ever seen, right? Kinda sounds like a Western animation. Hmm. Well, I think it comes down to two things: popularity and culture. Most of these artists have grown up around in the early 2000s, where Flash animation was just kicking up and still kinda sucked. When there's barely been years of authentic experience for Flash animation to hit that perfectly perfect segment, it's expected to note most shows barely keep up to that minimum of knowing how to make it look good at all. Flash is a cheap alternative, so let's hurry. It's like, think about it. People are still experimenting with these things, so it's safe to say we'll need a little more patience until the animation is more energetic through each frame. That's why we have to, see the CalArt style as reused models, especially chibi ones, that can help animators and storyboarders work better. Because for now, that's really all they can do. Now, the CalArt style truly isn't any different from any other generation who repeats tropes of similar appearance. It's just a lot of artists are, who happen to have grown around art with similar and simplistic art styles for easier animation. Creation is in Flash. It's easy to say that this is bad and it needs to be better. And that's great, we need to help each other out. Artists need to help artists. But it's not a critique to say something looks the same as everything else, unless you know why it's that way. People try to, better their art styles, and if you look at a lot of concept art they make and in their own time, it's very different from what they. Have you seen when it comes down to Big Mouth? I think that's the show. If you look at a lot of concept art and storyboarding, it looks pretty good, but they have to kind of get rid of all of that characteristics and stuff like that in order for the animation to be smoother, cheaper, and not waste any time because, again, they have a deadline. So, yeah, but that was just my 2 cents, you know? But, yeah, go eat like cereal or something.